Good morning. Today is May 22nd. We are a little north of where we normally are. We got an early start. It's about 7:05 in the morning. It's about 48 degrees out. And we're going to have a look around for the first time in a couple of months up here for some signs of life. That's our plan. And we'll see how the day pans out. Okay, we're back, and what we're basically doing today, I guess, is checking on some old spots for signs of life. Made some noise in order to let it be known that I'm in the neighborhood so that I can gain their attention if they're about. I'm going to check on a spot here. There are basically 3 spots I'm going to check on today, I think. And that'll be the plan. I guess we'll find out if there's any activity going on. But we got to kind of weave through this undergrowthy area first. And then I've reacquainted myself with my friends, the grabby bushes, which I cannot stand. They suck, but, you know, life is what it is up north here. So I'm going to kind of duck and weave in here. It's also the first time the Mavic Mini has been tested in area in Big Sky, and so far it has some known frailty, so I know what to look for, to beware of, but the little guy did admirably, I would say. And a little turbulence here and there, but it's also windier than I had expected too. A couple of interesting tree breaks back here too. Well, we're about to come out in the open, so I'm gonna shut up for a bit. Got a little network of trails here. They come right up on the water too. Hold on. I kind of have to watch what I'm doing here apparently. So, okay, little pond in here. It's actually not a pond, it's actually the outgrowth of the larger area to the right. Thick stuff this is. Playing games. Okay, so we're about here right now. And I don't know what's wrong with it. Every now and then the gimbal decides it wants to play. Alright, we gotta take a break. Which hopefully it will get over in this lovely area because it'll ruin the experience otherwise. I'm gonna get over here. Kind of looking for tracks too. The trail system in here would suggest a moose or something similarly large. And so we're gonna kind of pan over here and curious of something. With a zoom. Okay. It seems to have gotten over itself. And we're going to make our way over here and then over there. Following in what's probably Bullwinkle's footsteps. Bear with me. The joys of uneven terrain. Okay. Sorry about the sunlight. Trying to get my bearings. As opposed to say orientated, because I hate that word, orientated. Back in the day, it was oriented. Then somewhere, I think it was the English, decided to redefine it. Okay, so we're going to move a little way this way, and then pop out again. Seems a little more open in here. We came in the hard way, I guess. Going over this way. And I don't know why the camera does that, but I'm not going to hide technical difficulties. They happen. And eventually, if you recalibrate the damn thing enough, it'll work as intended, as opposed to doing that thing that suddenly it started doing. I wonder if that's a sign of age. I've had the camera about 2 years now. I don't know if that's the intended age. That being said, the feature set, I would probably get another one. Because a lot of gimbal cameras don't zoom. I found out the hard way. This one actually does to some degree, as I just demonstrated. So that's not so bad, actually. Not to mention the battery life is pretty good again. I'll get grumpy with, but otherwise deal with the quirks. So I walk out into this part now. We're kind of on the other side of the pond we were just on, but the brambly stuff seems to have gotten over itself so we can get a better look around. And for the sake of the scenic pan, despite the brush, hold on as I right there. And then into this. Nice little pond and stream through here. And then there's another cell over there. Unfortunately, the terrain doesn't lend itself to tracks, really. I mean, something big has come through here, but I'm gonna make a hazardous guess. It's a moose, and we're still on the stream side too. I don't think we're actually adjacent to the actual pond, which is over here. I wanted to kind of check it out only because the spark started having proximity issues with the trees. Ouch. I'm not doing good here. This tall grass is kicking my ass. And actually this looks like a little nexus of streams. And we're going to go through this and right into the mud and a bunch of moose shit, confirming my moose theory. Although it's way down in there and I'm not going to make a great effort to... So the question is, it doesn't actually coalesce into a pond. It basically, it's a stream pretty much. And if I'm looking out over here, and let's go back to the zoom. Nope. That is more a stream. And wind's picking up than really anything else. So that said, we're going to head back out and move to our next destination. No real sign of life. There's a moose print right there. So, okay, we've seen signs of moose, including moose leavings, but other than that, no signs of anything. Usually in this time of year, if they're around, there'll be wood knocking, which is either a signal to me to beat it or a signal that they should probably leave the area because that guy who always bothers us is back, and to vacate the area, so to speak. So we'll make our way back out. And is zigzagging back towards the main drag, trying to minimize the grabber bush potential, and basically for the sake of covering ground, really more than anything else. But they inhabit the middle tier of this. Luckily, with it being early in the year, though, they're not that tall yet. When they get called, they are a bit of a nuisance. Make our way back through this, provided I don't kill myself. And once I'm back out, we'll take a break. Move to spot number 2, which is kind of in the neighborhood where we left off up here last year. And then we'll check out the sighting location from a couple years ago and take things from there. Lots of trippy undergrowth too. Guys conspire against me. But at this point, once I get past this, we are gonna... Okay, we're back. We take a break. We've actually covered a little bit of ground. We're in the near the larger southern bog now. A little bit outside the realm of the other bogs, but trying to see, kind of starting where we left off to see if this actually gets you up and around the backside of a certain area, and it's already sort of not looking like it. We'll give this the college try though. And I was hoping it would go over this way. It doesn't seem to want to though. So what we're going to do is the next best thing. Try to find a bushwhackable way in. This is looking pretty thick though. Hold on. Bear with me. If I make through this stuff, I might be on the outer bank, so to speak. So we walked a ways to get to this point, so we're going to try. This is pretty thick shit though. Made worse by a lot of deadfall. If I can get around and kind of diagonal down this, I might actually pull this off. However, this is sort of what I wanted. We probably could have done this just by kind of wandering in, but if I kind of work my way laterally this way and don't kill myself, because it is a little bit of a steep gradient, we can get in here and have a better look from the interior. Big old beaver pond, and dare I hope for a launch spot to get out over this little part of the neighborhood. Let's go up and around. So actually, let's see. That overlooks the whole thing, whereas we're on let's try to work our way up. Get off me. A little more than I expected to do, but okay. You sons of bitches. Pardon my French. Getting down this thing is going to be interesting too. Going up and then over is alright, let's do this. Get up here. We can always work our way down if I don't fall and die. That was fun. You know, kind of on a ridge line. Down here. Small ridge line to work our way over here. So it's not a trail, but it does kind of do what I want it to, which is work your way along the side of this big bog over here. Hold on. Okay, so we can't launch from here per se, but if I can work my way down a little bit and not get hung up on this undergrowth, test him, he's not going to hold your weight, don't try. And, ow. We're along the side. I think what I want to do is yeah, you can't launch from here. It would be nice, but maybe over on the other side. We're going to go back up and around and down. All right, so we've answered our question. It doesn't do what I want it to, and it's basically a bug-infested shithole. But let's work our way back up and get sorted down there in the corner. Maybe I can launch from there real quick if it's worth it. Kind of diagonal down here. I don't know how scintillating this video, but safety tip right here. Trees like this along this kind of a hillside, don't trust them blindly to support you. Test before you commit weight, or you go spilling down there and that might hurt. So there is sort of an angle down here though. If you can do this gently and then kind of walk your way around. So I don't know if this qualifies as mountaineering or just switchbacking, but kind of let's do this. Work our way around the back side of this. Cut through the groin probe, and maybe there's a spot to launch from just here and buzz the beaver dam. That would actually be kind of cool if we could do that. If we can get past this overhanging fun and games. Boy, I just didn't cut the shit out of my hand. Okay. Not ideal. But we're here, so let's have a look. Last time I came into an area like this, I found tracks. After getting cut to crap. But, okay, so I guess if you're really patient, and not more patient than I am today, you can get up here, go up, and work your way along back there, and you can end up in the middle of this thing. But it is not easy going. And right now, I have other things on my day's agenda. So we got here. There's two reasons why I'm not going to put the drone out over this, just in case you're wondering. One, there's too much tall grass and guesswork, and two, the wind is more than it actually looks. Wind over water, when you're low to it, pushes down, which means drone goes swimming. So we're going to make this a focus of another expedition down the road. We're going to start making our way back down to our next spot on the agenda, and from there we will figure out our next move. But our way, what I'm going to do is go back up and around rather than go through that stuff. We're back down, which means we are going to take a small break and let me have hands free. Filled in with more grab bushes. I'm sure they have a scientific name, and if anyone feels superior and wants to put it in the comments, knock yourself out. But I walk through and they grab at me, so that's what I call them. Keeps things simple. But well, we're back in this area. On the way out of the southern bog, I took pictures of two possible tracks. They are either human or not in mud, and I don't know. I'm not gonna jump to obvious conclusions one way or the other. All I know is I know the angle of approach I took, and they're not mine. That said, they're in mud. There's no clear, obvious like toes to make one think they couldn't be human, but the flip side is they're really, I've hiked that area enough and not really seen a lot of people, and by a lot of people I mean like one last year who was like some kind of a wildlife research guy who was tracking deer or moose patterns or some such, possibly a Forestry Service guy, but he wasn't a run-of-the-mill hiker though, so it's not really an area where you run into a lot of people. These flats are always good for looking for tracks. Nice and swampy and wet. Usually only find deer tracks, but every now and then you find something with a weird shape that's kind of makes you wonder. But interestingly, this isn't as wet this year. I wonder if these guys had a dry spell. So we're going to head across over here. It's not that big a meadow. I just found the hidden stream. Didn't get my feet wet, but I went into a mushy spot. But anyway, let's pay a visit to this area to kind of maximize the day and see what's going on over here. And from here I'll have to decide how often I'm going to get up here given the situation. But gotta love moose trails or whatever. Anyway, I kind of like this area because it opens up more than the last one. There's weird rooty things like that, but we're going to make our way over this way. Minus the eye poker stuff, though, it's fairly open. So walking through here isn't too much of a bear. Watch me fall on my ass a minute after I say that. That's usually how that works. This area is actually closer to the sighting I had in 2017. And basically we're going to come out on a bog where it happened on the far side of. But actually half of that interaction that year happened on this side too, so. The wind is still going nicely, I hear. But we're almost there. It's always interesting when I get home, when I walk through an area like this, how many new gouges I have from eye pokers and the like. Usually 4 or 5. our destination is ahead. So for the view of the interior, this is what we're basically looking at if you want a quick pan. You do have to walk kind of slowly and methodically though, because some of these trees, the roots have opened up the ground and sometimes you sink in a foot. You kind of just have to relax and go with it rather than tense up, because that's how you roll an ankle or something, and walking through this with that would suck. Okay. For those that have followed my videos for any period of time, already following a moose, you're familiar with this meadow. We've been here before. We found tracks in here before. So we're going to do a quick pan of the whole thing. Why is it so? It's doing that. It just could be a sense of what it does when you're trying to it's hard to tell. Anyway, just messing with the camera. We'll look for some tracks in here real quick. Nothing obvious other than the moose. But this area is like nice and muddy, so if someone walked in here to get a drink or something, they might leave some sign. Basically it looks like this. Oh, let me get out of the shadow. Matted down, or just to show you the terrain. You get into the grass, then there's this muddy stuff. It is a little moist, but then meadow, so. Go over here a ways, and then we'll, if we don't find anything, I guess that's what the day has in store for us. Yeah. That and that frog that just jumped right to my side. Alright, so I had forgotten this feeling. You're walking on mossy meadow. It's kind of like walking on a waterbed, if I've ever likened it to that before. We'll just take a quick look over here too. This part of the neighborhood's looking a little quiet though, for the moment. Okay, we're going to head out. It's tilting again. And navigate this stuff again. Okay. So, anyway, the any kind of op-ed stuff, I guess, before we hit the last of our journey. I think this is our final stop. There was something funny on Facebook in relevance to this the other week. The situation with a certain group that is kind of stuck on themselves. They use the word neophyte for people doing this kind of thing, and I find that funny when people try to do that, because it basically is nothing more, in my humble opinion, than someone trying to give themselves superiority over others. And what is the amount of time that you put in this thing that makes you not a neophyte? Because the Four Horsemen never found the definitive proof to bring this thing home, and certainly the people making the claim never did. I haven't pulled it off yet, and there's just a couple of people around the community that tend to, like, you know, point the noob label at certain folks, but the thing is, where does that make you superior if you haven't brought in anything more than they have? You know, somebody that may have been doing this for, arbitrary number, 6 months, and, you know, for the people, I don't know, cough moneymaker, who, you know, have been saying, I've been doing this for 25 years, where's your body? Where's your proof? Because I don't see where anyone lacking proof is really any further along than anyone else. And it's just kind of funny to me when people try to set themselves on top. It's like, yeah, but you don't have anything more than anyone else does. So, what is the point of that? Anyway, here's that secret little stream and its little frog population. So, we're gonna wrap this one up here and start heading back, and we'll call it a day. So, I guess this is the part where I say we'll see you next time.